by the CRC, overturning CRM guidance, free movement has been established for the Republic. Citizens are now free to leave at will.
Is that the brave man? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It's time for a Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live Retrospective. It's the full season combined with a few bit of added on details getting fired out. We now know 2026, allegedly, Rick Grimes is coming back. I'm looking forward to it. Is he going to reunite with Daryl Dixon? Hopefully. But in this video, we're going to go over the reunions with Michonne, with Father Gabriel. And, well, I'll say the reunion with Father Gabriel. Father Gabriel reappeared on our screens, but Rick knew he was there, didn't he? Rick reunited with Judith, and he got to meet his son, RJ, the brave man. So sit back, relax, and let's get stuck in to that episode 1.
After 6 long years, Rick Grimes returns with 6 episodes in The Ones Who Live. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. This one was titled Years. It's the return of the greatest Walking Dead character. Is it?
The GOAT, Rick Grimes, the only one that matters at this point.
Yeah, the only guy that matters. And you know what? I think they have went balls to the wall here. It's 13.7 million an episode they're splashing on this. And I think you could see that. Obviously it's like movie level budget because this was originally supposed to be movies, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, straight away, I know we've only seen one episode, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this will be the best Walking Dead spin-off. It's going to be better than Daryl Dixon and Dead City for me. Yeah, I think already, just after one episode, production-wise, it does look levels above. And I actually thought the episode was good. It was pretty good to see Rick. I actually enjoyed some of the characters that they introduced. There was some like flashbacks where Rick would just be having like imaginary instances that did not happen. They had this bench and they would keep going back to a bench where Rick would just sit on a bench and imagine he was speaking to Michonne almost in a life prior to the apocalypse, and I didn't really like that.
Do you want to eat pizza, Michonne?
It felt like it was a way just to include Michonne in the premiere rather than just have her come in right at the end. So yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, then click out now. We're reviewing this Sunday. I believe it doesn't premiere on AMC until Sunday night. However, if you have AMC Plus and if you pay for AMC Plus like we do, because we would never legally stream anything, then you can get it 24 hours early.
So before we get into the episode, IMDb's rated at 9.8 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes 85%, and the description is, in another world built on a war against the dead, Rick Grimes and Michonne attempt to find each other and who they were. And also, before we get into it, I think it does feel different. It doesn't feel like The Walking Dead. I think you can spin that as a negative or a positive. I'm
going to say that's a positive. I think we've seen too much Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead ended on a low. Let's keep it real here. It didn't end on a high. Nobody is really begging to see more Walking Dead, okay? That's not what's happening here. And if anything, I think people are sick of watching The Walking Dead. So therefore, having this brand new show that feels different and doesn't feel like the old Walking Dead is 100% a good thing, in my opinion.
I agree to a degree, because you got to look at it. If it doesn't feel like the same show, despite the fact that the Negan and Maggie story and the Daryl one is set pretty much in the same timeline, does that not make the universe kind of lopsided? Like, why does the Rick one feel like this, but the other two, which is set in the exact same time, feels so different?
And it's good. You don't want them all to feel the same. If they're going to feel... See, if all three spin-offs are going to feel the same, what's the point of having them?
No, but I want them to be different. But I feel like this almost feels like it's futuristic, and it's like it's like Rick's been frozen in time, frozen in Antarctica, and he's just been reawoken or something. I like the fact that it feels fresh.
Yeah, so
maybe it's more of a bashing point on the other two compared to Rick.
Well, let's dive into the actual episode. So pretty much straight away, Rick loses a hand. Was not expecting this.
Immediately, it's an iconic moment. It's the the biggest character in The Walking Dead losing a limb.
Now, I thought he would lose his hand, but I imagined it would be later on in the season.
Like a cliffhanger to end the episode.
Didn't think it was going to happen in the first opening couple of minutes. It does happen, but the cutting of the hand was so dumb. So you see Rick, he's with these other soldiers, but you think he's a soldier, but in reality he is... Basically, he's like a prisoner. The soldier is behind Rick and he's on like a leash. It's very fucking weird. Gave me slavery vibes. And Rick and this crew are sent in to kill walkers, so he's killing walkers, but he's like on this like leash, like I said. And then he decides that he's going to try and run away because he wants to escape. He's in the part of the Civic Republic. They're holding him hostage, essentially. So he decides he's going to cut his hand off because his hand is like linked. That's where he's been like chained by. So he's going to cut his hand off, then try and run away. But does he not factor in blood loss and the fact that, I mean, you cut your hand off, you're going to be slowing down, you're going to pass out, and you're just going to be recaptured. That's exactly what happened. He gets an axe, he cuts his own hand off, then literally a couple minutes later, they just catch him.
But see, does this do a good job of showing the height of what Rick's willing to do to get back to his family, or does it do a bad job in burying the Rick character and make him look really stupid?
I think it was dumb. I mean, he should have bided his time. Cutting his hand off here was not a good idea.
Yeah, you look at Merle, he had to. The Rick here, you think he would have fought it through? At this point, you're already he waited 5 years and he cut his arm off. Like, it's not like he cut his arm off and he would be on the run for like an hour before anyone knew. As soon as he cut his arm off, the guy knew.
They're going to be on him and they're going to catch him, and that's exactly what they did.
And it's not like he just cut, like, 4 fingers. Like, he cut the full fucking shebang off.
And when Rick regains consciousness, he's been held hostage again, so he essentially cut his hand off for no reason.
What's he got to do? Cut the other one off?
We then learn a little bit more about the Civic Republic. We learn about A's and B's. Essentially, Rick was a B. It shows you when Jadis found him, Rick was a B. Even though, I mean, I don't know, Rick seems like an A to me. He seems like an A+ character to me. So we'll learn more about that. We got all these flashbacks, and you can definitely tell that they are trying to push this love story between Rick and Michonne. And maybe we should rant about it more in a different video, but I'm not understanding why Rick is so obsessed with Michonne and not his fucking daughter. It makes no sense to me, or the rest of the group. We're supposed to believe that Rick and Darrow are like brothers, and Darrow gets no mention.
Darrow spends his entire existence trying to find Rick, and Rick doesn't even know his name anymore.
Rick doesn't even care if Darrow's still breathing. I can accept that, yeah, Rick cares about Michonne and whatnot, but why is Michonne taking the priority over his daughter? His daughter never even gets a mention. All you see is these scenes between Rick and Michonne, and the imaginary scenes, and then like the scenes from the past, the flashback scenes, and like Rick's sole focus seems to be on finding Michonne. But like back when The Walking Dead started, Rick's focus was his family, Laurie and Carl.
Yeah, and now it's just his Michonne. Again, I think it's just the whole race relationship, mixed race. They're forcing it down our throat. I mean, they met Michonne back in season 3. They don't really become a couple till season 8, and it's like, if they were really this madly, deeply in love, would they not have had some sort of relationship pretty early on?
It's pretty much like if she was the only woman left.
Yeah, I think he doesn't mention Judith by name, but later in this episode, he says he wants to find his wife, and then he mentions his daughter later on.
Yeah, but how many mentions did Michonne and his wife get?
Yeah, they're ramming it
in comparison to
I
Judith?
actually think it would have been better if Michonne didn't appear in this episode until the very end, when it was revealed she was the one that shot down this helicopter.
Yeah, so Rick gets promoted to the Civic Republic.
He's an officer.
Basically, he's tried to escape 4 or 5 times, and he's not going to be able to escape, so he accepts a promotion. We get introduced to some other characters. We had Esteban Garcia, who was friendly with Rick. He was water power management. And
he was quite funny, this guy.
We have Donald Okafor, who was a colonel in the Civic Republic, and he's the one that's basically recruited Rick. He didn't find Rick, but he's basically the one. He saved Rick's life multiple times, and he's the one that recruited him basically into the Civic Republic. He took Rick from being a B to an A to a member of the Civic Republic.
And this guy also firebombed Atlanta, firebombed LA. But the problem with this is, guys, he's quite young to be a top colonel guy 15 years ago. I mean, we led to believe that this guy in his early 20s was a shot caller and one of the guys that was putting out hits on cities at the start of the zombie apocalypse. I mean, you look at Rick, you look at other people here, they're almost 40. No, 50, sorry. And I think being in your 30s is more believable to be a high-ranking officer. Not that Rick was. He was some jobber sheriff at the end of the day. But this grinded our gears, didn't it? I actually liked this guy. I thought he was a strong character. The lines he said to Rick, they came across well, and then he just gets
It
killed.
reminded me of is it Gus from The Punisher? Who's the black guy for The Punisher with the one leg?
Aye, him. I know who you're on about.
The guy that did like the meetings and stuff.
The AA things.
Aye.
I can't remember his
Kinda-
name. He has an aura.
It reminded me of him, so
That's what I would say. Everyone they introduced, right?
I like Donna Coffer. We get introduced to Pearl 4, and she was like a
South African.
South African. She was in the South African army as well.
I did some volleyball, Rick and I. There when I came at, I was half years.
Yeah, she gets promoted as well, and she's like Rick's partner in this, like not romantic partner, but I guess like I don't know, official working partner. Although her accent's very thick, so it was hard to really understand her. Plus, any sort of conversations where she had with Rick, it's almost like she came out on top, superior. So, it's almost like pushing the women's.
And what I would say, right, at least she was military pre-like.
Yeah, it's not like
apocalypse.
Carol.
It's not like a Carol situation. So, and you know what, she does come across as legit. It doesn't come across as woke her. Overall, I thought they did a pretty good introduction of all these characters, but then we get Garcia sits down with Rick. Rick's like, I'm no furloughed today, I'm getting promoted, I'm officer friendly, but officer CRM. The guy's like, I can't help you, Rick, these blueprints are no good, but I wouldn't tell you this. And then he starts sitting there, there's a manhole there, if you go 150 metres and there's a padlock, then you go 1
Combination 3499.
But I didn't tell you that, Rick. I like this guy.
I like the way he planned it out. So he gives Rick an escape route.
He gets like deniability, plausible deniability.
Yeah, so he gives Rick this escape route, and Rick attempts to do it. However, he kills a couple of walkers, then he's going to kill this other walker, but it turns out it's not a walker, it's a child that's actually alive.
Who's apparently been following her dead parents around who have been zombified, which I'm calling bullshit on. Right, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so Rick's got a grenade in his good hand, he's ready to throw it, but he can't throw it because of this child, so he has to abort his escape plan. He gets out to save the child, and also Pearl's there, she helps Rick, and then they kill all the walkers, and Rick basically has to just give up on this. She says, what you doing? Don't get yourself killed. And she gives him his helmet back, and Rick just goes back to being part of the CMR because there's no escape here for Rick. I just didn't really understand how this kid was following her zombified parents around. Look how many walkers were here, and look how dangerous that this scene was for Rick. Right? He was in a bad situation here. Him and Pearl had to take out about a dozen, 15, 20 walkers, yet this kid was somehow walking among them and not getting attacked.
Yeah, it's not like if she was covered in guts, if she actually fought her mum or dad, like, would it not have been alright? Anyway, Rick's plan's been forth that he has to go back to the CRM.
No, but I think there's sometimes when The Walking Dead just does stuff like this and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And it does annoy me.
No, but it's things like this. I've mentioned the Colonel guy's age. I think that is a bit of an issue, right? Not compared to this. This is like a complete plot hole. But why include something like this? Why couldn't it have just been a kid that was scared and alone, and it's the reason why Rick didn't go down the manhole? But no, they had to spin some other shite with 2 zombified parents, man.
You're looking too much into the Colonel thing. The guy just looks a bit young. He's 40 years old.
I need to know what face cream he uses, alright?
Right.
Leave it down in the comments below what you think he uses. But anyway, let's get back to the CRM, because he gets told here by Pearl Thorne. See that guy that uses that specific face cream? He knows a lot about you, Rick. And Michonne uses the same face cream as him. That's how he knows all about you. So what happens? Rick confronts this guy. I thought this entire confrontation was pretty good. Rick laying down the law. This guy reveals everything. Oh, well, Rick, we knew where we got you. There's not many names like Michonne in this day and age, so it wouldn't be hard to find her. And then that's what set Rick off.
Bit of a threat there.
Bit of a threat there for this guy. This guy was looking a bit weak here, but then... But overall, I enjoyed this scene between Okafor and Rick Grimes. I'm going to show you my overproportioned muscles very soon, like Trevor would do over on that Sorry Excuse Ya channel, where I'm sure he's gave this episode a 10, but we're almost near the ending of it. But I really enjoyed this scene. Would I go as far as saying it was the best scene of the episode? I probably would, but I think there was a scene at the start of the episode that I'll label as pretty good towards the end of this review. But what's Rick proceed to do after this? He gets a bit of glass in his room, and as we've seen in the intro, it was a bit of a weird intro. Like, Rick just cut himself with glass. I guess now it makes a bit more sense. He's writing in his wee books and his wee memoirs. Oh, Michonne, this is going to be the last time I write to you, because I might end it. But then what's the point of ending it? Because I'm Rick Grimes, and it would just mean the last 10 years have been for nothing. And there was a few discretion advised, monitor things. Discretion, that's the word I'm looking for. Again, was that really necessary? You wouldn't get that 20 years ago.
Nah, but we live in a world now where, I mean, if anything like that happens, they almost have to give you some sort of warning. But
it's a TV show with zombies.
Because it could trigger you.
But it's a TV show with zombies.
No,
Do we really need that?
I can accept that. Like, if it's a kids show and someone's going to kill themselves, then maybe.
Aye.
But, I mean, see if something is 15, 18, age restricted, why do you need warnings?
Yeah, like, I know WWE's done it
It's
in UFC,
absolutely-
like TVMA, but that's alright.
It's absolutely pathetic.
No, it is pathetic. But Rick, he's in
No,
the
but see if you, I don't know. I don't give a fuck what you've went through personally in your life, right? See if you're so traumatized that you're going to get triggered because of events on a fake television show are going to somehow. Then just don't watch TV.
Yeah.
You may as well just throw your TV in the bin.
May as well throw it in the bin, but you may as well throw their helicopter in the bin because Okafor and Rick are flying through the air. Rick's giving this story about when he was 7 years old. Didn't really dig the story, but here, I'll tell you about that. Okafor's digging a spear right to the chest, and then it blows him up, and it's like, they've really established this great character. I would go as far as saying this guy is pretty great by recent modern Walking Dead standards.
Yeah, so
and he just gets fucking
He just
blown.
gets like some explosive spear through the chest, and it explodes. Blood just goes everywhere into the cockpit of the
Helicopter.
helicopter. Rick then somehow manages to try and get the helicopter down. The helicopter crashes, but Rick gets out with a couple other people. But they are quickly sliced down by someone with a big katana.
Wearing like an American football helmet for like the 50s or something, and it's Michonne. For some reason, she didn't slice Rick's throat because she had to see his face first. Big reveal, big ending.
Well, she tried to, but Rick blocked it with his metal hand.
His metal hand, which I think is looking quite good for Rick. But that's the end of the episode, and I think this would have just been better if Michonne hadn't appeared before. I think seeing her in all these like imaginary hallucinations didn't really add anything to the episode, and I think the first time us seeing Michonne in the show actually reuniting with Rick would have been more impactful than the wee imaginary pizza dates they were on. But anyway, guys, that's it. I think this show delivered. I wasn't expecting much from it. I mean, 5 minutes in, you're getting an iconic scene. I don't care what anyone says. Rick, the main character of The Walking Dead, losing a limb is iconic, and I'm not going to cry the whole path of, well, it happened in the comics, so it's automatically great. I did think it was a wee bit idiotic for Rick to go down that road of cutting the limb off, but not nonetheless, iconic scene, and I'll give it a 7 out of 10 this episode.
I'm also giving it a 7.
I think this show will probably be the best show 2024.
I mean, well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't be surprised if it drops off. It was a good premiere.
Well, no, it could drop off.
I wouldn't be surprised if it drops off, because I also thought the Dead City premiere was pretty good, and that dropped off massively.
Oh, it did, but I just think with Rick, you've got a lot more potential here. I think the CRM's got more potential than, what do you call it? The what's that guy? The Gorad, or the
but
Scrotum, whatever the hell he was called.
We could be looking at a situation where the premiere is movie-like, and then the other 5 episodes are just Fear the Walking Dead budget.
It says they've spent about 14 million though in each episode, so hopefully
We'll find it. Look, it was a good episode. 7 out of 10 for me. I didn't enjoy all the flashbacks. It made it just... It disrupted the rhythm, I think, of the episode. It's like you want to know what's happening in the now and then. I don't want to see imaginary scenes that never happened. At least flashbacks can add stuff, but
it took away from the ending.
a lot of the
episode.
sequences that we had throughout the episode was Rick imagining like a life with Michonne without this apocalypse, as if he was just living a normal life, doing a normal job, and it was scenes that just never ever happened. And it wasn't once. They had about 4 or 5 of these. There was way too many.
If you take out the flashbacks, right,
they weren't flashbacks. They were imaginary
hallucinations, right?
Hallucinations.
It adds to the episode, and also it adds to the ending. I think the ending would have just achieved more if that was the first time we'd seen Michonne, and I'd probably be looking like an 8 out of 10 for this episode. But anyway, 7 out of 10 for Walking Dead in 2024 from Fog Entertainment. It's pretty damn fucking good. So.
Good episode. I mean, some people are going to get carried away. People are going to say it was great. I mean,
IDMB giving it a 9.8 is ridiculous in my eyes.
I could accept a 9 out of 10. I personally don't think it was, but I mean, if someone wants to give it a 9 out of 10, that's fair enough. But let's not say it was 10 out of 10. Let's not say it was anything more than that.
Did they deliver on Rick's return? Absolutely. I'll go as far as saying that. But anyway, guys, till next time, we've delivered this review, and peace.
So yeah, I mean, I actually thoroughly enjoyed episode 1 of The Ones Who Live. We got to see Rick return and it felt movie-like. It felt like the actual spin-off that delivered. Rick cutting his arm off, seeing this brand new community, the CRM, and how in depth they went into it. And I feel like it left behind the shitey, crappy sci-fi elements that this show, for whatever reason, decided to ramp up in its later seasons with awful effects and just the same old repetitive scenery. It was so refreshing to see cities like proper uniforms instead of people just running around like absolute bags of shite. So episode 1 for me delivered. Did episode 2? Let's find out.
It was a Rickless episode for 40 minutes, and that means our interest is gone, and gone is the title of this, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, Season 1, Episode 2. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here to review Gone, and Gone pretty much sums up all the supporting characters that we were introduced to this episode, because they are also gone, including Nate, who was a little man whose death had an even littler impact on us. Nate died, we were supposed to care, we were supposed to cry, but I mean, we kind of just seen Rick and then Nate died. It was kind of like, who the heck really is bothered by this? I think it was a poor time for Nate's death. It certainly got overshadowed. You get the reunion between Rick and Michonne. Michonne is back, and then boom, Nate takes a gunshot to the chest, and I guess it only takes one little bullet to kill you when you're a little man like this.
Yep, he was 4'1", and I mean, let's be real.
After a shot, he was about 1'4" or something.
He was about 1'4". What the heck of this guy? I don't think he was too overpowered, but
he was probably the best character and that they introduced this episode.
Yeah, I'll happily accept that. But we were introduced to the likes of Aiden.
But he was no Okafor.
No, he was no Okafor, but we are introduced to the likes of Aiden, Bailey. We've got Ellie, who looks like the leader of the Survivor Caravan. This just looks like some gypsy, Jippo group.
Yeah, we get introduced to Ellie, who's the leader, but she's not treated like a leader. Everyone puts her down, including Nate, and then that's it. Ellie's like a one-off kind of appearance character. We don't see her after this. Michonne gets some help from Nate. He offers her a horse because she saved Ellie's sister.
Nate ran in like a wee little boy, as a little bitch. He ran in, he's like, I'm leaving. You got your sister killed.
Like a rat out of hell, I'll be gone. He looked to me like a rat, didn't he? Anyway.
His fucking nose was deformed.
Anyway, so yeah, Nate then gives Michonne a horse. She comes across this massive fucking horde of walkers. She shoots one using this explosive round. It blows up. And then we get like 2 explosions miles from either side, and it starts seeing, you start seeing the walkers like open up like the Red Sea. And then Nate and Co are behind them, and they're like, we've come to help. And then they walk through the like opening, and it was like, thousands of walkers just opening up just so Michonne can perfectly walk through the gap so she can get to the destination where she needs to be.
What would have happened if the walkers decided, here, we're going to come back on ourselves here?
But I just don't understand why walkers are literally ignoring a person that is like maybe 20 feet in front of them to go and investigate explosions that are happening miles away. It makes no sense. The walkers seen her. The walkers were closing in on her. But you're telling me walkers are going to just abandon closing in on food just so they can check out a fucking noise that happened miles away?
No, ridiculous, man.
This is bullshit. They keep going, and yeah, Nate, he wasn't the worst character, but you do feel like The Walking Dead has went extremely woke. We've got basically women that are men in this show. We've got midgets. You've got all the interracial couples. I mean, it's ticking all the boxes. Trev's-chan can say this show's no woke. He can say The Last of Us is woke and The Walking Dead's real, but Walking Dead's as woke as it comes. Open your eyes up.
See, 20 years into Apocalypse, I just refuse to believe that this Nate guy is still alive.
Look at the original one. The people in wheelchairs, the deaf people. I mean, your chances of surviving that long when you're in a wheelchair and you're deaf is pretty much close to zero. Look at all the tough guys that have been taken out, the fucking military men. People that can handle the Meryl Dixons and Shanes of this world.
No, it's safe to say that if you got into by this point of the zombie apocalypse, you should have got into like a one-on-one fist fight that you have to win to survive. I would go pretty much everyone. And this guy, who's he going to beat? Maybe Rick?
Everyone beats Rick. So we see the helicopters closing in, some gas gets dropped, and I don't know what kind of chlorine. And it kills Aiden, it kills Bailey. It doesn't kill Nat, though. He survives because Michonne goes and gets him an oxygen tank. They then continue on their path for Rick. She offers him a place at Alexandria, but he's like, no, I will help you finish your mission. I will help you reunite with Rick. So he's a man of his word, a small man, but I guess his word's pretty big. His word is meaningful. Him and Michonne then go on their way, and we see more helicopters. He's got this like binocular thing, like what do you call it? Not a telescope. What do you call a binocular? But it's like one lens, like a one-eye binocular.
It's like a pirate scope, isn't
Nah,
it?
some shit like that, some sort of scope. He scopes out the helicopters. Then Michonne manages to kill the walker that they were using to drag their little equipment's cart. And he gets suited and booted, and he puts this like wee helmet on, and he's got the, I don't know, not a grenade launcher, but he's got like these explosive arrow fucking launchers, and he's launching them into the air. And then I think at this point we realise that Nate was the one that killed Okafor.
Yeah. Well, I knew at this point it was going to be him because he's the guy that's been firing them the whole time. Michonne did it at the start, but he launches one, doesn't hit the helicopter. He launches the second one, and it does hit the helicopter, but it doesn't hit the front of the helicopter, right? Clearly,
Was there multiple helicopters? That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm pretty sure...
No, there was only one.
I'm pretty sure with Okafor, the thing that takes that helicopter down is when it explodes.
Yeah, it hits him and explodes, and he goes into a million bits. It looked this one hit the back of the helicopter.
Yeah, therefore, but Okafor was in the cockpit, so therefore this one could not have possibly hit Okafor, but the helicopter goes down.
Is this not a pretty big flaw, though, if they actually think that this one that he shot here was the one that killed Okafor?
Well, maybe there was two. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe there was two.
All right, Trev, movie level, Walking Dead show, buddy. I think you should be getting these things right if they are wrong.
Well, maybe there was two. I don't know. The helicopter crashes. The soldiers try and get out. Michonne comes over, though, takes pleasure in killing them all, I guess, because they tear gassed or, chlorine gassed her friends. So now she's killing them. She kicks one over. She's going to kill this one, but it turns out it's Rick. So her and Rick look at each other. Big, the big romance shit, the big reunion. And I think they've plucked this romance out of thin air. Yeah, I'm not denying that they were in a relationship, but you just never see it with all the relationships in the main group. Rick and Michonne never felt like one of the most in love, like super romantic ones to me.
No.
Maggie and Glenn's probably the relationship that I think was the strongest in The Walking Dead.
Yep. Not easily.
Not this. See when like Maggie and Glenn were desperate to find each other, I don't think it felt forced.
No, it felt legit.
Although it did feel a bit strange how Maggie didn't really care about finding Beth. But Rick being so desperate to only find Michonne and escape to reunite with Michonne, not even caring about his daughter, that's very strange. But he asks his dude if okay. Michonne says that, yeah, she is. Nat's like, oh, is that him? Is that the guy? Is he still him? And then the next minute, boom, shot in the chest from one of the down soldiers that Michonne never killed. Rick goes over, kills him. Nat dies after trying to, I don't know, say to Michonne, yeah, never give up. We found him. And then that's pretty much it. Rick explains to Michonne that you're going to have to pretend that you're awake. You're going to have to pretend that your name's not Michonne. You didn't come from Alexandria. You don't know me. The only way we can escape is for you to be captured. And I promise you that I will get us out of this. So Rick doesn't want to escape with Michonne now because he believes that Beale and Co. will track him, the CRM will track him down to Alexandria. But surely if he escapes at a later date, they're still going to track him down to Alexander anyway. Yeah. So they get taken back. Michonne gets interviewed. She begins to settle in. Rick says that he will communicate via notes, but be careful not to get caught, and that they will find a way out. And then the episode ends with Jadis breaking into Rick's apartment. Rick goes in. It's like, what the hell are you doing here? Jadis confirms that she knows that Michonne is here, and it's ironic how in a place full of all the dead, the walking keep finding each other. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And she threatens to basically tell everyone about Rick and Michonne if Rick tries to escape, sending a threat, asking Rick, what the fuck are you doing?
Should Rick be willing to let Jadis live for this? Probably not, but here, she's a woman. Even if she does look like a man, she's still a woman, and therefore Rick's not going to lay the smackdown on her. But that's it, guys, for Gone. Was it a massive...
What was your thought of the final scene? Like, since you glossed over it there.
Well, I mean, what, Jadis appearing? I never cared for Jadis in the slightest. But she's the one that helped Rick get in the helicopter, brother. I think Rick... If this is a guy, he probably slices her throat here with his big metal arm.
Well, look at how he treated Okafor. He wanted to kill him for no apparent reason, really.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to give this one a...
I'll give it a 6 out of 10 for me. It's a 6 out of 10.
I'll give it a 6 as well. I was going to give it a 5, but you know what? Nah. I'll add a few more inches for him since God didn't give him
I was too harsh last week. I think last week maybe should have been an 8. I don't know. I'm going to give this one a 6. I'm not going to downplay this one because I thought it was a decent episode.
It was alright, guys.
It picked up towards the end. I thought the start was very boring with Michonne, Bailey, Nat, Aiden. Just didn't really care for any of the characters. I think once we got introduced. Once the CRM came on the scene, then we knew that Rick and Michonne were going to meet, and that was imminent. I think it definitely picked up after that. So yeah, guys, 6 out of 10. We will catch you in the next one. More Theory Fids to come, and also we will react to the promo trailer for episode 3. So stay tuned for that. 6 out of 10 for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, gone. And unfortunately for Nate, he is now gone. Who's better, Nate Okafor? We're going to put it up for a poll.
It wasn't Nate, by the way, it was Nat.
Nat, Nate, who gives a shit? We'll put it up for a poll, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, though, peace.
And now in hindsight, the scenes with Nate and Michonne, dearie me, it felt like 2 years.
The show might be called The Ones Who Live, but this episode should have been called Everybody Lives, because there was no major deaths in Season 1, Episode 3 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here for Episode 3. It was called by. We got a lot of deaths in episode 1 and 2. Well, maybe not a lot of deaths, but we got important deaths in this episode. I guess they slowed down a little bit. We didn't get any of that, but still, it was a decent episode. It's continued where this show started. It's good. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's a decent show, and it's probably some of the best Walking Dead content that we've seen in at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Absolutely, it's aesthetically pleasing. You look at it, there's new locations, like the mountains. When they seemed they were flying through the helicopter, it was like Alaska. You've got the snow, you've got the pine trees. We're just so used to The Walking Dead of the same old evergreen trees in the forest with a road with a couple of leaves on it. It's actually so refreshing to see this. Like, see when Rick's walking around in the CRM compound, it looks like some The Last of Us. It actually does. Would you not agree with that?
I don't think it looks as good as The Last of Us.
It doesn't, but it looks similar.
But yeah, it looks... It's a different look for what we're used to seeing in The Walking Dead.
I think that's what held The Walking Dead back for me.
I can approve of that, because for too long in The Walking Dead, it was literally just a group walking through the woods. Every episode, every season looked the same.
Yep.
I mean, you look at TV shows ain't normally like that, but The Walking Dead, I mean, it was hard to differentiate between the seasons based on the look. Maybe if a character had cut their hair or something like that, but overall, the locations were pretty much the same. It didn't matter where they went. Every location looked the same, and that shouldn't be the case.
No, it shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't be. But it's funny how you said cut your hair, because we're going to have to start this episode at the distant past. We've got Jadis and Rick not long after Rick's incident on the bridge.
I like the intro. There was 3 different time frames. There was one from a few years ago. There was one from a few moments ago, a few hours ago. Then there was your current time frame. So I think they did a good job of the intro.
No, they did, but my problem with the intro is that you've got Rick here talking to Jadis, which is obviously the very distant past, not long after the incident on the bridge. And if you remember, on the bridge, right, Rick is looking about 65 years old. He's got complete grey hair, it's like a skin fade, he's got the greyest beard known to man. How could he have grew his hair out in the space of a month?
Well, maybe Jadis saved him in more ways than one, because he de-aged to about 20 years.
No, he had, but... See, if you're going to base a show, right, off this timeline that's got the fairy past and then the recent past and the future, the current timeline, I think you need to differentiate in the looks. They did it with Jadis. She cut her hair, which Rick will call out later on in this review, but Rick looks no different. I don't get it. How can you have Rick throughout the show, right, the actual franchise, he cuts his beard, he looks 10 years old again, then he's rage, uncivilized Rick, and skin fade grandpa Rick. And then this one, where you're actually properly trying to differentiate between the years and the time skips, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, anyway, I like the intro. Years was Rick seeing Jadis, finding out that he had saved her. Hours ago was Rick enlisting Thorne's help and making sure that Michonne made it to consignment despite being suspected as an A and not a B. And the now, obviously, segment was Jadis basically saying to Rick, if you and Michonne try to escape, I'll let Beale know.
Have contingencies in place.
Contingencies in place.
Have receipts.
Yes.
So should Rick be willing to let that slide? I guess he can't really do anything.
Well, what can he do? She's already got files. She says that if she dies, the truth will be known. So Rick's sort of in a hard place right now. He probably wants to kill Jadis, but he knows that he can't really kill Jadis.
I think the Rick in the past, though, with a bitter throat out here and ran over to her dorm room and fucking looked for where are the letters? Where's the receipts, damn it?
Yeah, so we see Michonne getting familiar with the place, the operating base Obviously, she's not this damsel that she was pretending to be, saying that, oh, I've been on my own, I need help, I need numbers. She doesn't look like somebody that needs numbers. She looks like someone that's more than capable of surviving on her own.
She does, and she doesn't do a very good job here, though, of trying to stick to that rhetoric of, well, I'm a damsel in distress. No, because she goes into complete badass mode here, as some people that would like killing walkers would say. She starts slashing them up after some ones that aren't exactly dead. Supposedly should be dead in this pile of walkers, but they rise up, and then she just cuts them down, hacks them down. Oh, it looks like you are serious badass after all.
Aye, she's a badass. Speaking of a badass, we got to get a burial, I guess, or some form of memorial for Okavar. Beale was saying, General Beale was saying quite a lot of nice things for him. Well, not General Beale, Captain Beale.
The man, top man.
Top man.
Commander, the Führer. Maybe not that terminology, but this guy he's a good actor, Terry O'Quinn. I like him. Liked him in Lost.
We haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, what are they doing?
We've seen like maybe 2 minutes worth in the first episode.
Is it less is more?
He wasn't in episode 2 at all, and he had like maybe one. I think he did 2 appearances in this episode altogether. So yeah, we haven't really seen much of Commander Officer Head General Beale, or whatever his title is in The Walking Dead. If somebody wants to let us know down below, then let us know. Rick comes up with a master plan to escape with Michonne. He draws her a map. They're not going out together though, they're going separately. Michonne gets to the destination point. Turns out Rick's provided everything. He's got like a rowing boat, he's got her equipment, and he's also staged a death that looks like Michonne. There's someone wearing Michonne's uniform and just face plant it in the mud, but it's not Michonne. Rick is trying to make it look like Michonne, and Rick's not coming. So Rick promised Michonne that he was going to try and escape with her, but for some reason that isn't the case, and Rick is basically going to sacrifice himself. But the next day Rick finds that didn't happen, because Michonne didn't leave, she came back. Rick says, why didn't you leave? And Michonne's like, basically, I'm not leaving without you. However, I don't understand this. Rick thought it was he could stage Michonne's death, but wouldn't Jadis know about this? Like, wouldn't Jadis be still willing to sabotage Rick? Because when Rick speaks to Jadis, and Jadis can't believe that Michonne attempted to leave without him, Jadis's big reasoning for not allowing anyone to escape is because they need to keep this place a secret. They need privacy, and if someone manages to escape, it could put this base, it could put the CRM at a disadvantage, it could put them in trouble, it could open them up for attack, so therefore no one is allowed to leave.
Yeah, my problem with that though as well, it's what groups are out there, right, that could actually pose a serious threat to the CRM?
Well, we don't know. I mean, maybe the Saviours, if they can multiply by 100.
Oh, I know, but they're gone at this stage.
Oh, they are gone, but my point is, I don't see why Jadis was okay with Rick helping Michonne leave. That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Couldn't Michonne be leaving to go to Alexandria and get all the groups? Couldn't they be reuniting? And I know you're saying, well, who can really challenge the CRM?
But that still applies if Rick goes, but she's got a problem with that. So it didn't make much sense. It contradicted
Well, that
herself.
is literally what I just said.
Yeah, no, I'm being devil's advocate here, right? I'm trying to defend this show. But I think this is a pretty, I wouldn't say it's a major plot hole, but like in the space of like 10 minutes on screen, Jadis is completely flip-flopped. Like, what is the difference if Michonne leaves by herself that could reveal secrets, or if they both go and reveal secrets?
And you could argue if Michonne leaves, and she's going to be bringing back some sort of rescue party for Rick.
True.
So I wasn't too sure why.
Rick points out, here, there always has to be an inside man to get you out of here, buddy. That's how it works.
Yeah, but obviously Michonne didn't leave, so her and Rick are reunited. Pearl got promoted also in this episode. She takes Michonne into their unit. They go out on a mission. Rick wants Michonne in, so Pearl, I guess, thinks that she owes Rick one. She brings Michonne out with them. We also got a lot of Okavar talk in this episode. We can see that Okavar saved Pearl's life, and that she is like indebted to him, and that she is feeling, the brunt of his death. I wonder how she will feel when she finds out that pretty much Michonne is responsible for killing Okavar. She hasn't really put that one together yet, but of course we know that Okavar died because Michonne was with Nat, and they killed her, or they killed him.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to come out at some point. Pearl's going to discover that Michonne, in fact, was the one that fired that. Well, it wasn't actually her that fired it. I guess it was Nat that killed Okafor, but she was a part of the team. She was part of the
She
team.
killed everyone else.
True.
She would have killed Okafor if he was still
Well,
alive.
Rick killed one of them, to be fair. Rick walked over and dropped one of his own CRM buddies.
Okafor would have been killed, right, if he survived. That's obvious.
I did like as well that Rick buried Jadis' new haircut.
Yeah.
Are we going to bury our new haircut?
Alright, let's go for it.
It's have you ever played pro clubs on FIFA? It's like the most generic skin fade you'll ever get for a woman, man. It's like, see what she had in the flashback part of this episode? Why not just keep that hair? I get it when you're a soldier. They do like to tend to keep you have short hair, but come on.
Is it because she's a leader and they just wanted to try and portray her as more masculine?
Yeah, but look at Pearl, for example. She's got her in a bun.
Yeah.
That's what you go for. A bun's acceptable. It means you've got the option if you want it out long. Cutting it short means you've cut it short,
Well,
that's it.
fuck Jadis and her shitty haircut. We see Pearl then basically assigning Michonne to the mission with her and Rick, but it looks like at one point Pearl was going to maybe kill Michonne and Rick wasn't going to allow that to happen. He was ready to draw his gun, but Pearl must have eyes in the back of her head because she knew that Rick had pulled his gun.
Yeah.
She thought that Rick was
I doubt she heard it.
She thought that Rick was pulling his gun to protect her, but in reality it was to stop her from shooting or stabbing Michonne with her knife. So I don't know what was happening there, but Pearl referred to Rick as family. It's obvious that Rick doesn't feel the same here.
No, absolutely not. You don't feel for a second that Rick's ever going to be torn between Michonne and this Pearl woman.
Yeah, even when Okafor died, it's not like Rick was really... He wasn't too upset about it. He didn't really care. They go out on a mission. Michonne gets told to basically, right, you're not got any weapons, just you stand the line. And Michonne just doesn't listen. She breaks formation.
Protocol.
Rick obviously then breaks formation as well to help Michonne. We see them pushing this cart, and it was something to do with walkers. Walkers were
Delts.
Yeah, walkers were potentially closing in on some sort of power base that they had, and they needed to try and get them away. So it just seemed like...
How many walkers, though, are actually running about at this stage of the apocalypse, man? It feels like we're just wheeling out millions upon millions of them.
This just felt like a reason to try and shoehorn walkers into the episode.
Yep.
It wouldn't bother me if they didn't have walkers in the episode. I didn't
You've
really
also
like
got
this.
Pearl here, right? She can't get the cart out of the mud. Michonne walks up first time, fucking near sends it out the woods.
Yeah, it's not like Michonne's this big butch fucking woman. Like, yeah, she's muscular, but it made Pearl look incredibly weak. Michonne and Rick run off and they have a little kiss, but then Rick's like, no, we need to go back. We can't escape. They go back. They're helping kill the walkers. We see Pearl again pull out her gun. She's got Michonne in her line of fire, but Rick manages to stand in front of it and he's like, only 10 walkers left, 10 delts left. Rick has seen, again, Rick sees Pearl line up the shot at Michonne and he didn't really seem as if he was dying here to stop it.
No, he didn't really. Yeah, because he could have done a lot more. And see if Pearl wanted to, right? Michonne would be dead right now, and Rick would have been sitting there, not being able to do anything. He kind of just said, "Oh no, you don't point your gun that way. There's actually 10 delts over there." Delts. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of talk going on here, like terminology that we're just not really familiar with. I can't imagine, right, that the casual viewer is sitting there understanding this delt talk pish.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, we actually break this down. We make a lot of fids, and, you know, it's our job here on Fog Entertainment. We know a lot about TV shows. If you're a casual viewer, I can see why this is confusing.
Worst paying job of all time. But yeah, definitely confusing here. I just don't know why they can't use the same terminology, talking about delts. Why can't we just call them walkers? Like, I know that's what Alexandria called them. Rick's like, I call them that, so you can't call them that, or else they'll put two and two together that we know each other. But, I mean, there's only so many fucking certain names you can call these things.
Biters. Zombies. Whatever. But see the Walker terminology? Pretty much everyone in the actual show used that. There was the odd people that didn't, but most people did.
I know Woodbury used biters, but that was pretty much it.
The biters.
And then...
Biters, Merle.
That's pretty much it. Everyone gets eliminated. They're going home and the chopper. Rick is adamant that he can't leave, but he's going to make sure that Michonne escapes, and this time she's going to have to go, or else he will knock her unconscious and he will literally drag her out of the CRM and out of the base, and he will drag her back to Alexandria on his own. She doesn't take kindly to that. and then just randomly opens the helicopter door and grabs Rick and throws them both out the helicopter door, and that's the end of the episode. I mean, she didn't even check to see if they were like above water or above land. It doesn't look like they've got any form of parachutes on them.
Yeah.
She just opens the helicopter door and tosses them both outside.
Which could result in them both dying, but of course that's not going to happen.
Now, there
folks.
was a bit of turbulence and stuff, so I mean, I don't know, maybe this chopper's going to go down anyway, but it just felt completely forced and unnecessary. The fact that Michonne opens up the helicopter door and pulls them both out of it. I didn't get the point of it. I get it, she wants them to escape, but I mean, fuck me, you really just jumping out of a helicopter?
Yeah.
No plan?
I'm going to guess they fall in water, but there's no way she was looking out the window and be like,
Plus, it was really dark.
There's a body of water that I know we will fall in and live. There was also a point in this episode where Michonne ran into this artist who it appears that her, Judith, and Carl went to previously to like draw portraits of themselves, and Rick as well. But where does that fit in? How could Carl have met this guy? And then, is this guy not a threat to like blowing the whole mission up if he knows about Rick and Michonne's relationship? Could you not argue that?
Who cares? The whole blowing it up, it doesn't really make sense to me, because Jadis was okay in this episode with Michonne escaping.
Yeah, but I guess if this artist guy goes to like Commander Beale or somebody else, like here, that woman that came in, she knows Rick. That could open a can of worms, but I'm going to open my review score rating, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm also going to get a 6 out of 10. Decent episode. Not great, but decent.
If it continues like this, then delivers on like its finales and premieres, you've got a decent show.
Yeah, we do have a decent show. 1 season show. I think it's been confirmed only 1 season. We'll look into that and we'll confirm that. But yeah, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, we're halfway through. And I think it's pretty good. Surprised that nobody died this episode. But maybe they're saving some character deaths for the finale and the later episodes. What I will say is they haven't actually introduced that many characters, so therefore, I mean, they can't really be afford to killing multiple characters every episode.
Absolutely not.
Or else you'll get to the finale and there'll be no one left.
Yeah, you can't kill off like 4 characters that you introduce every episode. And they pretty much did that in the first 2. This episode, it was quiet.
I mean, they're teasing maybe killing Pearl here, or teasing maybe killing Jadis, but it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen, folks. But I'll tell you what is going to happen. More content on The Ones Who Live. We'll be back with a promo breakdown and more Theory Fids throughout the week. But until then, bye.
Martin Luther King had a dream just as Rick Grimes did, but unfortunately Freddy Krueger came along and he snatched those dreams and turned them into nightmares where Rick could no longer see Carl. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here to review The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Episode 4. This one is called What We. Next week's episode is called Become. And I'm actually wondering, what has Rick Grimes become? Because in this entire episode, he was nothing short of a snivelling little crybaby bitch, and he does come across as the feminine character out of the two. It's almost like Michonne is here to save Rick. She is here to rescue Rick. Rick is the one in trouble. Rick is the one needing help. Rick is the one that's been abused and captured and traumatized. Like, Rick's this little fucking crybaby, and Michonne needs to come and be the big saviour. It's not the saviours, it's not Negan, it's just a saviour, and Michonne appears to be Rick's.
Yes, she does appear to be Rick's, and now let's just get one thing clear. I think we've got to base an entire episode around Rick's reason about why he doesn't want to come back, and then have the reason sucks. It's a disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. At least if the reason was good, that would make the whole episode feel worthwhile. I think because the reason was so bad, you kind of just sat through this episode and went, I feel like I've wasted 50 minutes with that episode. I feel like with the first 3, it was good. I think with this episode, not that it was bad, but I think when the meaning behind it is idiotic,
well,
it loses points.
It wasn't necessarily the reason he wasn't leaving, but it was basically what broke him. I guess it was what he decided was going to keep him there, because he had nothing left to live for. But Rick Grimes basically opened up in this episode, and he revealed that the CRM, they took Coral away from him. And I don't know how they done that. We thought he was going to lead on to something. He spoke about dreams and how he's seen Coral in his dreams and how Coral just disappeared from his dreams. Was it some sort of experiment? Did they play mind games? Did they torture Rick? What did they do to Rick? Did they implement something into his brain so that he could no longer dream of Coral? No, we didn't really get any explanation. Rick was just saying when he first got captured by the CRM, he used to dream of Coral, and then over time, he just stopped dreaming of Coral and he started dreaming of Michonne, and it kind of felt flat. It was nice to see Rick name drop Carl, but I was expecting it to have a bit more of an impact. I was expecting the reasoning for the name drop to have more of an impact and just to be like a bigger deal. But he basically just said, yeah, I used to dream of Carl and now I no longer do it. And that was it. And that's what basically broke him. And then he went on to say that he can't really leave here because he's still dreaming of Michonne and he knows that Carl is dead, so he can't really dream of him, I guess, anymore because he knows that he isn't alive. Whereas if he stays with the CRM, then there's a chance that Michonne might outlive him, and therefore he's okay with that. So Rick basically saying, it doesn't matter if Michonne's dead or alive, as long as he doesn't know, then that is good enough to keep him breathing, because he needs Michonne to be alive for him to live, or else he'll die. I mean, very strange reasoning there for Rick Grimes. It kind of lost me, I'm going to be honest, but we'll talk more about that, I guess, when we get to that part of the episode. I mean, let's wrap it up. They basically spent the entire episode in this building that from the opening 5-10 minutes, the building is like falling apart after the helicopter blasts the building. And then they stayed in the building for a very long time. They would take regular breaks. It almost seems like they spent overnight in the building. They even stopped to have like sex in the building. And the building, meanwhile, is we're supposed to believe that the building could crumble at any time. Yet Rick and Michonne are constantly taking breaks here to have heart-to-hearts. And it's just not really believable. They're trying to play into the fact that, well, these two are in real danger because this building could fall at any moment. And then they would just stop and would take these like long periods, resting times where they would just like lock up in an apartment and then talk about things. And, it takes you out of the equation here. It just takes the building. It ruined it for me, man. I didn't understand it. I mean, it was a very weak episode. I've already said that The Walking Dead has a limited amount of characters. Well, this episode was very limited. You got two.
Yeah.
Other than name drops, you got two characters. It was a 2-character episode. And for me, that's a big problem with The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. In terms of named characters left in the show, we have 5. Beale barely gets a scene. And then obviously you got Jadis and Pearl, who were both mentioned in this episode. Beale, though, wasn't mentioned in this episode. And I just don't see how you can have a TV series with a lack of a cast. And for me, this show's not got a cast. It's basically a 2-person show. It's a love story. They are forcing Rick and Michonne down our throat. You would be led to believe that Rick and Michonne had this some sort of like unbelievable bond in the original Walking Dead. You would be led to believe from what we see here that there's never been a pair that love each other as much as Rick and Michonne do. But I mean, newsflash, it just wasn't there in The Walking Dead. Even when they did get together, it wasn't like the strongest relationship in the show. So, but now they're trying to portray it as if these two are soulmates, and I think the whole thing feels very forced as well. I'm just not really buying it.
I'm not really buying it. You went on a wee tangent there, but I think it was justified because you look at this show and you've got a severe lack of characters. Yeah, Daryl get name dropped here. But again, it just stems back to what I said earlier. I think because of Rick's reasoning, it was pathetic. It just felt like an entire waste of an episode. And also, how weak-minded is Rick that he's like, well, I'm not much of a shitebag, Michonne. I would rather sit in the CRM with the possibility you could be dead, but I'll never know for sure, so I can always dream that you're alive instead of, going back and protecting your own. Because you've got to bear in mind, there's more threats out there than the CRM.
Like, that's kind of like us saying, I'm never going to check my bank balance because at least I can live happily knowing that I might be a millionaire. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, but there's more...
No, like, what the point?
No, there is more threats.
Makes no sense.
There's more threats out there in the CRM. Right? I mean, even Michonne said that during the 8-year time skip, which was confirmed, some woman came in and kidnapped Judith and a bunch of kids.
Yeah, Rick doesn't know about that. He doesn't know about the Whisperers. He doesn't know about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know that Negan's walking about and, living a normal life.
Yeah, it's like so much has happened. And Rick, It's like, it's not even, he's like, what, he went, oh, but if we get back first, maybe we can flee Alexandria and move somewhere different. He's ruling everything off the table because of his conscience.
Yeah, so Rick is adamant that he cannot leave. If he leaves, then the CRM will come looking for him, and that means they'll kill everybody. And he doesn't want that for Michonne. Michonne then says, "I can't believe you're going. I've left my children to come and find you, and you've turned into this." Then Rick catches on. What do you mean, children? Michonne explains that he's got a son. His name is RJ. Michonne says that he looks exactly like Rick, and that her only contribution is the light brown skin. So, not surprised that got a wee mention in there. Mixed race relationship here, getting forced down our throat, I believe.
Absolutely not. But I think just look at Rick, man. The guy's so weak. Michonne, like she said, man, travelled the 7 seas to find him. Spent a year on oxygen with Nat. I mean, fucking what? I thought it was a couple of months at best. A year with a midget. No, that's insane. No, that is actually insane. Like, I think it was chlorine gas. Yeah, it takes a long time to recover, but it's like, no wonder Michonne is pissed. Like, she's actually left Alexandra behind, left 2 young enough kids behind, right? Fuck knows what's happening there. Don't have any scoobies.
Kids could be dead.
Could be dead. And Rick's like, well, I need you to go back because then my dreams can be safe. No, I cannot accept this, right? And see, people that actually praise this, they're delusional. They're drinking the Rick Kool-Aid like everyone else in the original show did for like 7 seasons, because it's mumbo, it's words without meaning. See, when we watched this episode, I was wondering, what could this possibly be? Is Rick going to come out? I even think if Rick came out and said he was gay, it would make way more sense. But this...
Would it really? Well,
no, he woke like that.
He stayed away from Judith because he's gay? What sense does that make?
I know, but they're forcing this love thing.
I'm glad you're not writing the show. The Rick's whole reasoning is he can't leave because the CRM will know where he's going, Jadis will know where he's going, and they'll track him down. They see a helicopter, I believe it's the same helicopter that they jumped out of that crashed into the building, so Michonne is believing that she saved Rick's life or else they would have crashed into the building, and Michonne now thinks she's got this bright idea that they can now escape because they're going to believe that they were both in the helicopter crash, and Michonne just thinks it's as simple as that. That same saved, they can go home, everything is safe. But that doesn't really work for me because surely Rick would have thought of that. Surely Rick would have thought, I can stage my own death. I can crash this helicopter and make the CRM believe that I have, died in the crash or whatnot. So it just felt very forced that one little helicopter crash later and Michonne thinks all their problems are solved and that Rick can just leave. And even then, when Rick does leave with Michonne, it's like, why did he not address the CRM and why didn't he address what they're going to do? Michonne said they could possibly go and kill Jadis, but Rick's like, we can't do that because she's got the files. So what are they going to do? You tell me that Jadis is just going to look at the helicopter and just go, Rick must be dead? And they're not going to search for Rick? Is she not going to go to Alexandria and make sure he didn't go back there? Like, it's a bit naive for Rick and Michonne just to decide, you know what? We can go back after all. Rick's just decided after 8 years, no wait, it's safe to leave and go back to Alexandria.
He's wasted 8 years of his kids being brought up. No, it's crazy. I mean, I just don't get any of this, what the hell's going on. It's like Jadis as well. What was he just going to let... So, 1 minute, it's the Jadis leverage. Next minute, it's dreams about Carl and dreams about Michonne. What is it, Rick? I know he came out and said that. I mean, I think the Jadis thing's way more believable. At least there's actual threat.
The Jadis thing is more believable. I'm not really paying attention to what Rick said with the dream. I think that's been misconstrued. I genuinely do not see how he can use dreams as a reasoning for him staying away for 8 years.
Michonne accepted it. Michonne bought it, ate it up.
No, I think that's why he's upset. But the reason he's not be able to leave is because of the CRM and the fact that they will follow him.
I just miss the
and that they kill everybody.
Rick would have bit Jadis' throat out, man, and ran across and hoovered the evidence and ran back to Alexandria. That's what he'd have done. But this Rick, not so much. But yeah, we've got like chandeliers falling on Michonne. Oh, is she going to die? No, she's not. Well, walkers are just no longer a threat at this stage of the game. It's like a weird research facility they're in. It kind of reminded me of Resident Evil, some degree, Umbrella. The walkers, though, they were very slim for whatever reason. They've done a wee bit of their own research. They've got hybrid cars outside. But I think the worst thing is like the forced love story. I could accept a love story, but it's so fucking cringe. It's like
Every time they go down a flight of stairs, they're kissing. They get into the elevator, and why would you use an elevator when a building's falling apart? I don't really know.
No, but this is too like. I mean, Rick's probably about 50. Michonne's probably about what, early 40s, maybe 40. I mean, this isn't two high school teenagers at 14, for fuck's sake, man. It's like it's two grown adults. And even in the promo for next week, they're like kissing and, oh yeah, Rick, and, you know, they're running, holding hands and doing all this shit.
Well, Scott Gimple did say this was a love story, and I guess he was true to his word. That appears to be what it is. But
yeah, but like whatever, but it's a part of the same franchise. It's a part of the same timeline. You just never got this in the original show or any of the other things. Like, yeah, you had relationships, right? But like, see Maggie and Glenn, did they have to kiss every time they were within 2 feet of each other? Feels like these two need to.
Yeah, so they get into the lift, they start kissing. Again, you wouldn't really use the lift. I'm pretty sure you would take the stairs.
Yep.
They manage to get outside. They jump in a car. Rick can't use the car because of the shift, and he's only got one hand. So Michonne has to jump over top of Rick, and while she's jumping over the top of Rick, they have another makeout session, and it's like, what the hell? Like, it's just so forced at this point.
People buried, though, the Shane and Andreas scene. No, but look how much more fucking forced this is. It's just everything about it's forced.
Yeah, it was very
I mean,
forced.
the entire interracial relationship's forced, right? But at least if they were just in a relationship, I could accept it. It's rammed in your throat. Like, I just don't get it.
Rick's never had this sort of relationship with any woman in The Walking Dead.
No.
Whether it be Michonne in the original, or Laurie, or Jesse, or whoever else Rick may have had a little bit of an interest in, we've just never really seen Rick get on like this, but all of a sudden now he's, him and Michonne are completely in love, and I just don't really get it.
I think they're just doing it though to try and make Michonne feel more equal to Rick. It's more you're seeing them as one rather than two separate characters, sort of thing.
And you can make this argument, right, that they haven't seen each other in 8 years and that's why, but I would make the argument that over 8 years you would grow apart. I'd say that's more like...
makes the heart grow fonder, obviously, in these two cases. Though.
Nah, I'm not buying that. And they escape, they jump in a car, then they drive off. So, I mean, that was it. Literally not joking here. This full episode was just Rick and Michonne arguing in a building about why Rick cannot leave the CRM and return home to Alexandria. That basically sums up the whole episode.
It was filler.
No word of it. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was... It didn't need to be a full episode of this. Put it that way.
Well, no, that means filler. Yes, you've got something important in there. But
I thought we were going to see Jadis. I thought we did see a helicopter, but I mean, I thought we were going to see the CRM come after. Rick.
See the conversation, right, that they had and his reasoning. I'm not seeing like The Walking Dead season 3. That would have been over in 3 minutes, 4 minutes. They actually dedicated 50 minutes to this episode, and no doubt the next episode. It won't be the exact same because Rick's obviously like revealed reasonings and they're on their way back to Alexandria, buddy. But I'm sick of this cringe fest. Can we just focus on the task at hand, which is getting back to Alexandria? Like what are they going to be getting out of the car next episode? And as Rick's pouring the petrol into the hybrid man, she's going to be kissing him.
I can't believe.
And then like the way Rick broke down when they were having sex, it's like. And then she had to comfort him. It's like, fuck, Rick, have you got anything left about you?
Well, it wasn't just one time. Like, it was quite a lot of times during this episode where Rick was crying his eyes out, bawling.
I know.
And she's the one.
But why can't she cry? Why can't he offer her a shoulder to cry on? Why's the man got to look so fucking weak?
I mean, he's looked weak this entire show. Whether he was, I mean, the only person that Rick has stood up to, funnily enough, was Okavar.
Yeah.
Other than that. He's been talked down to Pearl. He's been threatened by Pearl. Jadis has fucking got Rick's nuts in her hand. Both hands, unlike Rick, he's only got one, but she's got a double squeeze going on. This is just... It's not the Rick Grimes that we know. And who knows, I mean, maybe when he gets his hands on General Beale, we'll see the old Rick Grimes, but when he's surrounded by women, he does feel like a little bitch, and it's a tough watch. I don't really like the direction they're going with Rick Grimes. I think this show's been okay, but for me, this was probably the worst episode so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's the worst episode so far. Uh, I get it. They need to have this discussion. They need to, break down and open up and, talk about why Rick can't go back and talk about what he's missed and introduce the fact that he's got a son. I know you need to do all that, but did you really need to dedicate a whole episode to it when you've only got a 6-episode potential 1-season show and they had to dedicate? This would be like Rick meeting up with the group in the original Walking Dead and they dedicate a whole episode with just Rick talking about Laurie. Or Rick talking to Laurie.
Yeah, it just wouldn't happen. But that's the problem though, I think with the first few episodes, they cram so much in that you can't say they didn't, but then they have episodes like that and then an episode after it were like not, I mean, it wasn't quite the Fly episode for Breaking Bad, but it kind of felt like that to me. Where it was like this prolonged conversation that just took up a full. You can think of so many, like I said, the examples. It's already in this spin-off. They crammed so much. Look at like the first episode, the first 10 minutes. Rick's cut off his hand. There's like 6 years I've went there. So much has happened, but in this one, it's just it would go to black for like the break. It'd come back. She's still nagging at him, and he's given another piss reason. Yeah, I didn't really dig this episode. I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I just don't really get it. Rick says that Jadis thinks that when we're together, we can achieve anything. Well, if that's the case, then why have you been proclaiming that you can't leave? If you can achieve anything, then you should have left 2 episodes ago when you found Michonne.
No, what I don't get though, right? They hype up the CRM like they're this undefeatable force, like the Third Reich, for fuck's sake, right? What are Michonne and Rick in the grand scheme of things? Right, yeah, Rick's the main character, right? But we're supposed to believe this is like reality for them. The CRM are capable of anything. They've got like manpower, 200,000 people. That's just another forced line to make you think that this fucking relationship is beyond the realms of like the world. Like they're possibly everything. Well, why is Jadis even putting them over? So fuck, it's pathetic. That's what it is.
Jadis has got 200,000 people behind her, but she's afraid of 2 people.
No, honestly, like, I mean, come on. Like, yeah, Rick is the main character.
Rick can do nothing on his own. Rick on his own's this, fragile, trapped guy that's been held hostage, essentially, by the CRM, but you add him Michonne, and Rick can achieve anything.
No, you may think this is a stretch, but this would be like, obviously Jadis ain't top person in CRM, but this is like Big Himmler, right, from the Nazis in World War II, noticing this guy who's like a corporal in the Allies, and he's like, see him and his wife, they're fucking capable of anything, Adolf. And he's like, oh fuck, we need to down all tools, buddy. It's a load of shit, right? The relationship, here, if they want to be in one, fair enough, but I think they need to take a few steps back with it, but they're not. They're just going to double down and hammer it home.
Yeah, I'm going to get a 5 out of 10.
4.5 out of 10 then. That is us, 2 episodes to go. And, I mean, that's another thing, like with Rick, there's talk of him dying. Imagine if he dies, though, after doing this season. Being weak.
More should have happened in this episode. I'm struggling to think of an episode where... This did feel like latter Walking Dead, where things were just dragged out to the core. But even then, I don't really recall an episode being dragged out like this. No. Where it was basically 2 people talking about the same thing.
Like, imagine Michonne returned to Alexandria and told, like, Daryl and Maggie and all the kids, like, he didn't want to come back because, because Jadis had a sheet of paper and he didn't want his dreams to be taken away. What?
Be a bit like the toys in Toy Story 2 having to go back and tell Andy, Woody's not coming home.
Woody's not coming home, buddy.
It's like, what the heck? Anyway, guys, 4.5 out of 10. Weakest episode so far. We will watch the trailer, then give our reaction to that. Danny Gurrier, or whatever her name is, she wrote this episode.
You're my favourite deputy.
So I don't know, maybe that's why. It just wasn't very good. It was poor. It was pretty poor.
You're a sad little space ranger.
It wasn't the worst episode I've ever seen of The Walking Dead. It was still better than a lot of the later seasons of the original show.
But I think the acting's good, but...
Yeah, no, the acting's good, but it didn't need to... More should have happened, alright? They could have done exactly what they done with Rick and Michonne. Just, like, I don't know, cut a few scenes and maybe had Jadis, like, closing in on them or something, or some sort of outside threat. It was literally just a 50-minute conversation between Rick and Michonne about arguing why... Oh, I can't come back. No, you can come back. No, I can't leave. No, you can leave. It's like, I mean, come on. And then it's like Rick just decides out of nowhere that, yeah, you're right, I can leave. It's like, what actually switched the light on inside Rick's head to decide, you know what, I can go back to Alexandria?
I don't know, but like, why this game with CRM? Why can't no one know about them? I mean, you're an army of like 200,000. You're going to be known. You can't keep that shit under wraps.
Well, you can if you kill everybody you meet.
No, I don't get why though. Why does it need to be under wraps?
Because they don't want it to be fun.
But again, it'd be vulnerable, but against a bunch of people at the fucking hilltop.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, say the CRM come across the hilltop and they don't kill the hilltop. Is that going to come back to bite the CRM? That the fact that maybe 60 people at the hilltop know that a group of 200,000 exist?
Yeah, but that's another thing, right? Rick is running the risk that the fact Jadis knows everything. Like, she knows all the locations where they are. She could wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm going to send 4 attack helicopters to blow up Alexandria. Why take that risk? And
I tell you what, I think it makes perfect sense for Jadis to go to Alexandria now, because let's say season 7 of The Walking Dead, when Negan took Daryl, see if Daryl went missing from the sanctuary, or if he faked his own death, or he was presumed dead, would Negan just be like, oh well, Daryl must be dead? Or would Negan go straight to Alexandria to see if Daryl returned there? That's what he done.
Well, that's what he did do.
So, like, surely based on that logic, Jadis is going to go, right, well, we're going to pay Alexandria a visit and see if Rick and Michonne magically are together, and then all of a sudden they just disappear, but they're both dead. And you tell me Jadis isn't going to check out Alexandria?
Yeah, no, crazy. Yeah, I think we've dragged this out a wee bit too much, guys. But anyway,
well, they dragged the episode out, so can we.
So can we. But till next time, peace.
Ding dong, the witch is gone. Jadis is dead. Rick returns to the CRM, and a wild Father Gabriel returns. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is time for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, the penultimate episode, episode 5 of season 1. We are here to review, or should I say, I am here to review. It's going to be a solo review episode today, but that is okay. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about this episode. I actually thought it was probably better than last week's, but I do think now that is back-to-back episodes that The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Lived, hasn't really entertained me. You know, I wasn't blown away by this episode. I thought it was an okay episode. It was a little bit confusing at times. We spent the majority of the episode with Jadis either hunting down Rick or Michonne, or the tables would turn and Rick and Michonne would hunt down Jadis. At the end of the day, it did come across as filler. We didn't get Pearl. We didn't get Captain Beale. We did get Father Gabriel, which I was surprised about. We got some new characters that were garbage. But other than that, again, not a big cast to choose from. And it was basically this three-person episode where it's just Jadis trying to catch Rick and Michonne. And then she tries to catch them. They get the upper hand on her. Then they decide that they can't kill her, but they tried to kill her. They don't know if they want to kill her, and it's like nobody knew what was going on here. So we start the episode. Rick and Michonne, they're trying to get back to Alexandria. They're trying to find some food. They're holing up in a place, I guess. They sleep in some cabin. Next morning, they meet a group of 3 people. The Rick shows... Well, first of all, these people are coming under attack for walkers, so Rick and Michonne save them. The walkers have got, like, I don't know, a granite rock or something on their heads. It's like engraved into their heads, so they have to like smash the rock first before they can kill the walkers, before they can like penetrate the brain. So they do that. Rick and Michonne then give this group some noodles, but the group turn their back on Rick and Michonne and they demand all their possessions. So we get a bad group here, so to speak. It was 2 men and a woman. Surprise, surprise, the woman was the only one against Robin, Rick and Michonne. So have you noticed when it's the main group, when it's the protagonists, the women are always the strong characters. They're always the ones that lead the way, the brave ones, the fighters. But when it comes to like random groups, like so-called innocent groups, they always want like the woman to be the nice one, the reasonable one. She's not a bad person. She just happens to be stuck in a group full of bad men. So that's kind of the vibe that we always get when we encounter these groups. So the woman who was called Tina, and obviously looking at her, I mean, people say this show isn't woke. You look at Tina, you have no idea what it is. And apparently the actress, I went on Internet Movie Database, she declares herself as non-binary, so that's obviously how she got a role in this show. But yeah, the non-binary one is against taking Rick and Michonne's stuff, and the two white men they want Rick and Michonne's stuff, but they don't get it. Rick and Michonne overpower them, and they agree to let them live as long as they don't do this to anybody again. Rick and Michonne are then caught by Jadis while they're asleep. Jadis then ties them to the bed, tells them that it didn't have to be like this. She didn't want to do this. They could have just stayed in the CRM. Their family back home at Alexandria would have survived, but they chose this. So now it's either they two die, or if they kill Jadis, everyone back home and all of Rick and Michonne's family die. So they've got a dilemma. They manage to break free, and then it turns from Jadis hunting them down to Rick and Michonne hunting Jadis down. We get some sort of car chase. Jadis gets shot, I believe. She's bleeding, so she's on the run. She's trying to escape them. Then Jadis encounters the three people from earlier. They were a little bit hostile. Again, the men were. The female just kind of stood there. Jadis promised them safety if they helped her. She then looks at the woman, looks at her, and then she goes, "You're pretty tall." And I mean, look at both of these women. Both got fucking shit haircuts. I mean, I know it's a zombie apocalypse, but did all the good-looking women die early or something like that? I mean, did all the good-looking women die on day one of the outbreak? And maybe these women are so ugly, the walkers didn't want to eat them. Is that what it could be? All the ugly women are still alive because the fucking walkers didn't want to chew down on them? Possibly. I don't know if that's the reasoning or not. Rick and Michonne then, they follow Jadis to like this abandoned warehouse, and they see the blood. They track down Jadis, or at least what they think is Jadis, but it turns out to be Tina. She was wearing the black cloak, so she turns around. Maybe that's why Jadis was saying to her, "You're pretty tall, you can pass as me." Then the two guys appear, then Jadis appears, and before we know it, it is 4-on-2. But again, it doesn't really matter if Rick and Michonne are outnumbered or outgunned, because I guess they're the two main characters. They always come up smelling of roses, so they manage to fight their way through. They beat up the two guys, and then Tina, who was dressed as Jadis, gets bitten by a zombie. The zombie takes her down. The two guys rush over to try and help her, even though at this point there's not a lot you can do, and they get taken down too. So, I mean, these three characters absolutely sucked, and they were only here really to just be killed off, and I don't know, to help Jadis. I mean, I say help, I mean, I use the term help loosely. They had Rick and Michonne at gunpoint for like 5 seconds and then got overpowered. It's not really helping. Wasn't really impressive. Then Jadis fires shots at Rick and Michonne. They have a bit of a shootout. Jadis reveals that she can't die, because if she dies, they all die. Everyone dies. Michonne doesn't care. She wants to kill Jadis, but Rick's like, "No, we can't do it." But Michonne's like, "No, she's going to die. I do not care." So, again, it's like Michonne's making all the decisions for Rick in this series. Rick's supposed to be the man. Rick's supposed to be the leader. But he's just doing whatever Michonne tells him to do, and he's doing whatever Michonne lets him do. And honestly, I think that if The Walking Dead didn't start in 2010, we wouldn't have this Rick character that we do. I know this show is trying their best to fucking to butcher Rick and make him like less of a man, but I think if The Walking Dead started in like the 2021 or something like that, 2020, this Rick character would not be a strong character. He wouldn't have been allowed to be the leader. He wouldn't have been in charge of the group. It would have been all these strong women. Like back in season 1, when the women are doing the dishes and the women are washing the clothes, it would have been Rick Grimes washing the fucking clothes, honestly, if this series started in 2021. So, yeah, they get into a shootout. Jadis is hurt. Jadis makes a deal then, or Rick and Michonne make a deal. They all make a deal that if Jadis allows Michonne to go back to Alexandria and live, Rick says he will return to the CRM, and that's pretty much it. They will save Jadis' life because she's dying, she's bleeding out, she needs help. So Rick then gives himself up. Michonne goes to get the first aid kit, but Jadis pulls the gun on Rick, obviously going to betray him here. But then Michonne comes back and they've outsmarted Jadis. I mean, we all seen this coming. A blind person could have seen this coming, but apparently Jadis did not see it coming. She's held at gunpoint. Michonne shoots a couple of walkers from behind, and then one of the walkers manages to bite Jadis. It takes her down. They get the walkers off Jadis. Jadis is now bleeding, and then for some reason, Jadis has a change of heart. And before we get to this, there was also Jadis scenes where she was meeting with Father Gabriel. Now these were flashbacks, and it was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and 1 year ago. Now, in the end, Jadis, I guess, was coming to Father Gabriel to confess her sins, and I guess Father Gabriel forgave her. Jadis never told the CRM about Gabriel, and I guess Gabriel never told anyone back home about Jadis. They had this like secret meetup, and then it gets to the present day where Gabriel's waiting there, but Jadis doesn't show up. And why does she not show up? Because she's dead, yes. Rick ends up shooting her. She's bleeding out. She tells Rick about the dossier, and he needs to go and get it and destroy it, and it's in her apartment. I don't get why Jadis was so hell-bent on seeing out this CRM mission, but then as soon as she gets bit, as soon as she's going to die, she no longer cares about the mission. She just gives up the CRM. It made no sense. Like what? Like even the whole Rick escaping thing, Rick was so adamant that you cannot leave. They will not let us leave. And then just because he fucking has sex with Michonne, all of a sudden he's like, I need that black chocolate in my life, and he just escapes. You know what's happening here? It made no sense. Jadis was CRM till the end, and then as soon as she's about to die, you know, she just gives it up really, and she allows Rick and Michonne to escape. And then Michonne was like getting emotional when Jadis was about to die, even though she's wanted to kill her for like the last 2 episodes. She's been hell-bent on killing Jadis after Jadis took Rick away, took Rick from her, took Rick from his family, took the family from Rick. Jadis took everything from them. But when it comes to shooting Jadis, all of a sudden Michonne is getting very emotional. I didn't think this made any sense, but then Rick shoots Jadis. I guess he kept his promise. He did say he was going to kill her. And the episode ends with Rick proposing to Michonne. So he's got a ring. He never had a chance to do it before, and now he does it. He proposes to Michonne. Michonne accepts, and then we get some like big like wide shot, and we still see Father Gabriel. So is Father Gabriel going to meet Rick? Is he going to meet Michonne? Could he help them escape the CRM? Who knows, guys? But that was the end of the episode. So after the zombie bite, Rick kills Jadis, and then he proposes to Michonne. And now they're going back to the CRM to try and get the dossiers, to try and delete any information that they have on Rick and Alexandria, and then try and escape and return home. So that's what the final episode is going to be. In terms of this one, guys, I am going to give it a 5. Yeah, for me, it was an average episode. Wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just a bit of a clusterfuck, to be honest. I mean, Jadis chasing them chasing Jadis, then Jadis chasing them. It's like, make up your mind. Who's trying to kill who here? So, yeah, for me, 5 out of 10. Probably on par with last week's. I think last week's episode was like higher quality in terms of the acting and stuff, but it was a bit more boring last week because it literally only was a 2-character episode, and it was basically Rick and Michonne having a domestic argument for like the full episode. I mean, more was happening in this, but it still felt filler to me, and the acting wasn't as good, and the new characters that we got weren't great either. So, yeah. I'm going to give you guys a 5 out of 10. 1 episode left. I've got a feeling this will go more than 1 season. I just don't think they've showed enough to end it all in 1 episode. I'm not convinced, unless it's like a extended episode. But like even Beale, Major Beale, this guy was supposed to be the main antagonist of this show, and he just does not feel like it. He's barely had any screen time. I'm not sure that they're going to end this show with Captain... Now, who knows? Maybe Major Beale will just be a guy that is not got a long shelf life. Maybe he just dies. Maybe he's not the main focus. Maybe Jadis was the main antagonist, but for me, they got a pretty good actor in Terry O'Quinn, and they've done a really poor job with him. He's pretty much been missing for the entire season 1, basically. So yeah, we'll see what happens. What will Major Beale do? What will Pearl Thorne do? Will Rick and Michonne escape? We'll have to find out. I'm giving this one, guys, a 5 out of 10. Catch you in the next one. And will Father Gabriel appear again? Will Father Gabriel help Rick and Michonne escape and return home? We'll find out next time. That is it. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
The brave man finally returned home, but you would need to be brave in order to rewatch this series again, as the finale was a major letdown. The final half of the season was a major letdown. Beale, major letdown. Rick, major letdown. The Walking Dead, just a major letdown, buddy. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here for the 6th episode and the finale of The Walking Dead, the ones who live. And who lives? Pretty much everybody lives. Rick and Michonne certainly live. They aren't going to be killed off. They survive. The nice little interracial couple, they certainly are not going anywhere. They're going to return home to their interracial kids, brother, and live a long, happy life with Rick probably doing the dishes with one hand and Michonne being the masculine one, being the man, going out there being the protector. What happened to Father Gabriel? We don't know. He didn't show up. He got introduced in episode 5. It showed you him on the hunt. He was going from location to location. He was on the move. Is he going to find Rick? Is he going to find Michonne? Did he even find his way fucking back to Alexandria? I don't know. We don't know what happened with Father Gabriel because he wasn't in this episode. Okafor got a couple of mentions, but I mean, who cares? It was a decent character that was killed in episode 1. I've already forgotten about him.
They're milking the Okafor well dry, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, he was in one fucking episode.
It had been milked dry by episode 2.
I've actually never seen a show where a person who appeared in one episode is being made out to be godlike.
I would say Okafor has got more mentions pre-death than any other character in The Walking Dead.
Post-death?
Post-death, sorry. Than any other Walking Dead character. From your Shanes, Laurie's, Herschel's, Glenn's, Governors. You think of all the characters that like meant something to the group or had a important factor, an important impact on the group or whatnot. I can't think of any other character that was brought up more than Okafor.
It feels a bit forced. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Like, why are they pretending Okafor was this great guy? Like Rick debating back and forth with Beale and Fawn. Okafor's like, Rick, hold on here. You were fucking battering the guy.
Yeah, we put up a poll. Was Pearl going to join Rick or keep on the CRM side? And I mean, I guess she technically stayed on the side of the CRM. Beale, who was brought in as a big actor, Terry O'Quinn, we thought we were going to get a pretty good main antagonist. It turns out that he barely had any lines until the finale.
It's fitting he got lost in this show, because that's what he's most known for.
Yeah, it is fitting. But
he got lost in the pecking order.
But you know what? He featured in a large part of the first half of this episode alive, but he just spewed a load of shit, if we're being completely honest. So we start the episode with Rick and Michonne, their grandpa.
If Rick still had his hand, he would look at it for the fucking watch because he was boring him that much.
So Rick and Michonne go back to the CRM. Rick says he's going to go to the briefing, and Michonne is going to go and find the dossier for Jadis. So Rick goes in at the front gates. Michonne sneaks in through the back gates, and we're led to believe that you cannot escape this place. It's like impenetrable. But Michonne managed to sneak in easily. Yet Rick was captured here for 7 years and couldn't manage to escape.
Yeah.
And this is before Rick even knew Jadis had any dirt on him, so...
I think you could just tell at this point of the episode, though, that the pacing's off, right? Episode 4 is like 50 minutes of those two arguing. 5 minutes into this episode, the game plan's been revealed. They've both broke in. Well, Rick's went to the front gate, Michonne's broke in, and he's got a sit-down with Beale 10 minutes in.
I think the series pretty much went downhill when Rick and Michonne actually met.
Yep.
Even though I think episode 2 was a decline on episode 1, I just felt it was alright from a different perspective, but since Rick and Michonne have met up, I mean, I don't think it was...
I think if you want to have...
I would say episode 3 was okay. But I think since Rick agreed to escape, and they pretty much did in episode 4, I think since then it's just been flawed. I think the second half has been so fucking shit.
I think the pacing, though, of this show's crucial. I think if you have different seasons which have different pacing, fair enough. But in this one season, we have had episodes that have fucking dragged on, and then there's episodes that are, like, taking place over, like, decades. I mean, Rick, the first episode takes place over the course of 8 years. Michonne's one, with Nat, they were getting their lungs fixed for a year. And in this episode, it takes place over, like, half an hour.
Episode 4 was basically Rick and Michonne having a discussion about her wanting him to come home and him saying he can't do it. That's what episode 4 was. This episode, you had Rick and Michonne return to the CRM, kill everybody in the CRM, and then return home to Alexandria to meet their kids. It's like, what the fuck? Where's the pacing going? Anyway, Michonne sneaks in, and it just shows that how easy it was for her to sneak in. Therefore, it should have been easy enough for Rick to escape. But
they're gonna kill Alexandria. Can't do that. Can't do it.
Didn't know that though at that point.
Yeah.
So that you can't even use that logic.
I just don't. Yeah, it's like we're reckoning that one time he did try to escape. It showed you, I think, what in episode 1, and Thorne caught him, and like the little girl who was following her zombified parents around. And no, that won't be the last problem with walkers we've got in this episode. But we may as well talk about the sit down with Beale.
No, I just find it mad that Rick refused to escape that time, just because he's seen this little girl. I mean, this guy will fucking kill. And are you telling me every CRM soldier is bad and deserves to die?
No.
Was Okafor a bad guy?
Like most times in wars, I mean...
Well, was Thorne even bad though?
No.
She just seemed to be following... I don't know. She just seemed to be following fucking Beale's...
Make no mistake about it, Michonne and Rick just killed 3,000 people.
Yeah, like, you can't say they were all bad and they all deserved to die, yet they never gave a second thought. But when it comes to Rick escaping peacefully and getting back to his family, he won't do it because there's a potential of a little girl dying that would have fucking died. If he was that bored, he could have took that little girl with him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, our parents had just died or whatever, or were dead anyway. So that made no sense that he just gave up the escape plan just so he could protect her. Just bring her with you. Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, Michonne gets the information from Jadis's room. Rick goes, he gets... He first sees Beale doing some like training with the killing walkers. Then Beale says he wants to meet him. Rick then goes to meet Beale. Beale speaks for about 10-15 minutes here, saying a lot of nothing. Basically, the plan of the CRM is to survive and for them to stay strong, for them to stay safe, and for them to be on top and make sure that like they're not vulnerable or no harm comes to them. They need to essentially take out Portland. That's like the other big city remaining. And then after they take out Portland, they'll blame it on some sort of like random disaster, some bullshit like that. That's heard that before in real life. And then they're going. The CRM are going to march through the entire country of America and North America and the world essentially, and every community that they come across, they're going to kill. Why, I don't know. Now, it's almost like if they come across survivors, they'll take them in. Maybe. But if they come across communities, they're going to kill them all. I don't know why. What sense does that make? Like, let's say a small community. Like, let's say Rick's group in the prison. Apart from the fact that Rick's overpowered and shit, what danger is that group posing to CRM? If they don't even know the fucking location of the CRM and they're just holding up in a prison.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's the way they've portrayed the CRM, like...
Look at Alexandria, right?
No, but...
So Alexandria, before Rick got there, shitebag community, didn't really go beyond the walls, and they sent out some people just to like scavenge and stuff and come back. It's not like they're a threat to the CRM.
No.
So why is the CRM going to go out of their way to fucking sanitize the entire America?
I think they're going to extreme lengths here to show how bad Beale is, but he's just talking a load of shite. Like, he's talking about, I served in Vietnam, Ricky boy. I
don't even think he seems like that bad of a person until he discussed the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should probably be talking about Vietnam, I don't know, about 5 episodes ago.
And it's like we never really got anything from Beale. And now they're introducing him. They're trying to give you these large Beale parts so they can try and build up to his death. And it's like, you just don't care. You had 5 episodes and you done nothing with the guy. You gave us Jadis, who nobody gives a fuck about. I don't care if Trev's Chan says she's great. She was shite in the original, or the garbage woman. That's what she is, garbage. But anyway, Rick doesn't like what Beale's saying. Beale says, accept that community that you're trying to get back to. We'll bring them in. I don't care if they're your brother or lover or kids or anything, friends.
Your bummer.
They can come in. Then they were sharing stories about the hard things you've had to do. Rick talks about the people he's killed. He talked about Joel and the fact he had to bite him like a walker to save his son.
It was good to see all like the flashbacks, right, of when The Walking Dead was good. Not that season 4 finale was particularly fantastic, but it's just fucking shit. I'm sorry. The show's killed me.
You don't know what to say. Beale, anything to say apart from it's shite? Because I was actually in my rhythm there discussing what happened.
Well, you go ahead then.
Yeah, so Beale's talking about, well, look, you might have saved Carl there, but in the long run, you couldn't do nothing. He's dead. And I think that kind of takes Rick the wrong way. So, yeah, Beale continues to explain this to Rick, and at this point, Rick's got the knife. You can see he's pulled a knife, because Beale told him to have his gun and his, like, prosthetic steel arm on the table, so the only weapon that Rick's got, essentially, is this gun. No, this is knife, sorry. It's like a throwing knife. Beale then realises that Rick's not buying the story, so Rick gets up, throws the knife at Beale. Beale gets up, pulls the knife out of his... I don't know, pulls the knife out of his...
Torso region.
Torso, I guess. Then Beale gets this sword and he's swinging it at Rick, and Rick's using his arm to shield the sword, even though the arm he took off. I don't know how quickly you can reattach this. But, like, see Meryl's arm, it looks like that's something that you'd have to fidget about with.
Yeah,
Normally
strap.
these-
I think Rick looks like a click-on job.
Like, yeah, you'd expect these... Is that what it was? A click-on job?
I don't know the actual design
Anyway,
of
like,
the...
1 minute, Rick's got his arm up on the table, next minute he's got it on him. He blocks a couple of shots with Beale. Beale's trying to, kill Rick, saying, I knew you were the guy, and Okafor this, and Pearl this, and then Rick manages to grab a sword, and he pokes him through the knife like it's a wee needle. He pokes him through the hand like it's a wee needle.
Like, would Beale not have security in play here?
You'd think so.
Especially after he hinks Rick's not going to be able to cope with this.
And then Rick tells Beale, we don't die, you do. And he stabs him right through the hand. And
that's
through the
Beale
arm.
done.
That's Beale done. Beale's dead.
Alive Beale
is
at
finished.
least.
Rick then tells Michonne about some bullshit. Not Michonne, sorry. Rick tells Thorne about some bullshit story. Beale wanting to meet out in the woods or some crap like that. Also, earlier when Rick returned, Rick told Thorne that Michonne saved his life. And up to this point,
She thinks it's Dana.
she thinks it's Dana, and she never caught on that it was Dana, or that it wasn't Dana up until the very end. She didn't even know then, because when Rick and Michonne, spoiler alert, when Rick and Michonne are trying to escape, she calls her Dana, so she's not even caught on to the fact this is fucking Michonne yet. So I don't get that. That was a bit dumb. Michonne kills... I don't know if she kills someone, but there's someone trying to get into Jadis' room, and she either kills her or just like chokes her out. I'm not too sure.
So boring, the Michonne part.
It was.
Oh, let me go through a wee PowerPoint presentation.
It's like, as much as you don't really... As much as the Rick stuff isn't great, it's like you feel when Rick's here, I'm paying attention.
He's fighting against the main guy.
When Rick's on the screen, I'm focused, but when Michonne's there, it's like, who cares? Yeah, she goes to a PowerPoint thing, and the CRM are going to like save 10% of the kids, but wipe out everyone else. And then we see all these kids. And
Hollywood elite.
we see all these like kids pop up on the screen, and it's like I don't know if it was a fair representation of race and stuff and nationality and ethnics, but it is what it is. And then we see some wee black kid, and Michonne decides to leave because maybe that reminds her of RJ.
Oh, Jay.
So that's that really. Rick, when escaping after killing Beale, he gets tackled by some guy who notices the blood, and then Rick just bashes this guy's face in with his like metal hand. And then some weird thing where they're having the briefing. There's like 3,000 soldiers like ready for... I'm assuming they're waiting for Beale to talk. Rick and Michonne grab Beale, who's now zombified, and the other guy that Rick just killed, who's also zombified. And they like tie them up and get them going round in circles. And they tie them to like the gas.
The grenades. Yeah, it was a weird concept. I don't know. It's not very practical, this. I mean, what happens if they walk? What if they walked a direction too quick? Rick and Michonne would have been blown to a million bits.
And did you see how slowly they were walking?
Yeah, and they had to walk slow because if there was like a knee-jerk reaction, they're blown to shit, right? And let's talk about it. So the grenades are all strapped up to these gas tanks, which I believe are the same ones they used to gas Michonne and Nat about 4 episodes ago. So it's lethal gas. It takes you a month to recover for this if you don't have a gas mask. But
Did it take a year?
Oh, a year. So, but maybe Rick's doesn't have little people lungs. He's got the big lungs, buddy. But what happens next is pretty much a genocide, is what I would call it.
Yeah, so Rick and Michonne, they plan for these to go off. They use, obviously, Beale and the other soldier, the zombified version, to set it off. and it kills like 3,000 of the soldiers. And then after that, we see. So they get up, and then I guess they're going to escape, but they're stopped by. What's her name?
Pearl.
Thorn, yeah. So Thorn stops them. She says, "No, Rick, you're trying to escape." Then this is when she says, "Rick and Dana." So she still's not caught into the fact that this is Michonne. After the explosion, because she caught them before it exploded. After the explosion, and she also noticed the zombified Bill, I guess, but didn't do anything about it. After the explosion, there's two masks for some reason. She's got one, and Rick and Michonne have the other one. And I guess Rick says, "You take the mask, and I'll get Pearl or whatever." So that happens there. Rick and Pearl get in a bit of a fight, and Pearl ends up getting the upper hand. It's like, what the fuck's happening here? Michonne goes and gets the mask, and then like literally this explosion has happened. I want to say no more than a couple of minutes have passed here, right?
Yep.
And that's a push. We're talking a couple, and all of a sudden we have like hundreds of CRM soldiers zombified. When do people turn after like a minute?
Yeah. It just doesn't happen.
Here, and I get it, right? Shane turned pretty quickly. That's like a rarity. What's the chances that all these fucking soldiers turning? And wouldn't they mostly be blown up and not really in a position to be walking about anyway?
Not yeah, because most of their bodies looked intact.
As if there was no explosion or nothing. So Rick and Thorne are battling. Michonne finds the gas mask or whatever. And then Rick gets attacked by walkers, and there's like fucking 7 or 8 walkers like surrounded Rick. I mean, they're surrounding him for a good minute here, but for some reason don't get any bites in. And think how even harder it would be with only one hand trying to hold walkers off. But Rick's somehow doing it.
Rick can do it.
Michonne and Thorne then get into a fight, and Thorne's like, I can't let you to escape. But then Michonne ends up stabbing Thorne and says, "Love doesn't die. Love doesn't die." And it's very forced. Like,
It's cringe. It's a load of shite, man. They need to stop. Yeah, you can have a love story, but there's need to be forced. Like, you're killing your enemies, and it's like, love doesn't die. No, well, why can't it be something else?
Yeah, Rick then pulls the grenade on one of the zombies. This grenade, like, blows up 3 or 4 of the zombies, but Rick somehow is just intact. Not a fucking head on his hair was harmed. And because he covered himself with one of the walkers. Just absolute garbage here. Then Rick and Michonne reunite. Rick goes over and he takes Jadis' mask. And I don't think not Jadis, sorry. Takes Thorne's mask. And I don't remember if they killed her or not. I think they just left her.
I think they just left her, yeah, so... But she was stabbed. Loads of walkers. I mean, she's going to die.
Why not put her out of her misery?
Yeah, that would have been the right thing to do.
Fucking give Jadis a better death.
No, but...
It's like, but you would be led to believe... Like, I thought Rick and Thorne were close.
Yeah.
Obviously fucking not.
No, but it's... Yeah, the CRM's bad, right? But, like you said, not all the soldiers are bad, and it's like, they've just killed 3,000 odd people here. And then, like, they return... Oh, it's RJ and Judith, and it's happy families, and it's like, what? That's the ending? That's it? That's your whack? This show came out with a bang, man. The premiere delivered, and it's just been downhill ever since.
I think the finale might be the worst episode yet.
Yeah, it felt rushed, and it's just the way it ends. It's like that's it. Like, there's no Alexandra. There's no like, where's all the other characters? Like, Rick just reunites. So you're the brave man. No, I'm your fucking dad, alright?
Then we get a story as well, like, being broadcast about how the 3,000 died and that the CRM are going to change their ways and going forward they're going to take people in and stuff. And it's like, what?
So what...
So Okavar's mission's complete? Why? Because Rick fucking wiped out 3,000 people?
I don't like this. I think the CRM needs to get in the bin after this.
What was Okavar's plan then? Wait till Beale dies and implement new rules? I mean...
What you could... I'll implement a rating, guys, because it's end time. I mean, do we care about Judith and RJ reuniting here? I mean, it's like they run over and hug Michonne, and Rick's just sitting there. Hey, that's my son.
I just don't get it. Like, even... Like, Rick killed Beale, yeah. Maybe because he's the leader, but you'd think he'd at least try and reason with other soldiers or something.
Yeah, no, I get it. I could have ended badly,
rather than
but...
just kill them all.
Yep.
Like, massacre them all. Very strange. Then, yeah, they return home. Michonne's hugging them all. No one seems to want to hug Rick. I guess Judith kind of remembers Rick, but RJ doesn't. He's meeting Rick for the first time. It's a weird dynamic for me, I'm not going to lie. And then he's like, oh, you're the brave man. And Rick's like, I'm the brave man, but you can call me Dad. And that is literally it. That is this show finished. No season 2. After this ending, I just don't see how there can be a season 2. There's no CRM to come after Rick. Beale's not coming. Nobody's coming. It's done. It's finished. It's over. They said this was going to be only one season, and I think this pretty much confirms it. And I thought it absolutely sucked.
I think they shouldn't have killed Carl off. I look at this and I'm like, Judith ain't Rick's. She's nowhere near Michonne's. Rick doesn't need... RJ and Rick have, like, no relationship. I get it, because he didn't know him. Right? But it just felt weird. I can't explain it. I just don't buy that Judith and Michonne are, like, this close. I don't know, it just felt fucking off to me.
Happy families.
I think the better ending here would have been if Michonne died getting Rick back to them. It just felt too happy. You've just committed a genocide.
Yeah, but
and it's happy.
Imagine Rick coming at the helicopter, like, and he's looking at these two kids. One he hasn't seen in like 8 years. Another one fucking never seen in his life.
Is that ending not? Holy fuck, that's dark. That's mental.
No, it is. They went for the safe pish. Oh, everything's happy. One big happy family. So yeah, I thought the ending sucked. I thought the episode sucked. I mean, I think it probably started off... I think the first half was the better half. I think as soon as Rick killed Beale, it quickly went downhill. See, just them wiping out all those guys, and then all these walkers just magically turned them within seconds. Rick being surrounded by like 8 or 9 of them, and for a good minute, and they don't get one bite in and kill Rick. And then there's like this scene where Rick and Michonne are trying to escape, and Rick's trying to jump on top of this like cargo container. And, like, the walkers are all grabbing his feet and at his legs and at his knees, and not once sinks their teeth into him. And it's you just know that, see if this is at the start of The Walking Dead, right? Or even towards the end of any season, and this is, like, a member of the group, like, maybe encountering some random person out in the fields, and they're trying to save them. You tell me the random person's not getting his fucking legs bit off here?
No, they're dead. Absolutely.
But for some reason, when it's Rick, it's like they want you to defy your like imagination here.
Yeah, it just feels like a waste of time, this show. It does, like...
I think...
Like, it got Rick back to the group, right? So it achieved its objective that way, but I think there was such a... Like, see when this show like was announced in the first episode happened, I was like, oh, this could be good.
I think...
but...
it went quickly went downhill.
Yeah, I think it's just a massive disappointment. I mean, this episode got a 9.4 on IMDb.
Don't know how. You know, in Metal Gear Solid 2, where they've got that thing, and you shoot the bullets and it doesn't hit them?
Aye.
I think this show would be more believable if they said there was this like weird weaponry mechanic thing that the main characters had, and it meant that zombies wouldn't bite them. It was like this electronic field that stopped teeth from biting them. I think that would be more realistic, because then I would go, well, you know what, that actually makes sense why they don't get bit. But see when they want you to believe that
Rick didn't get bit here.
See when they want you to believe that Rick, Michonne, and all these other main characters are just as vulnerable or just as likely to get bit by walkers as any other jabroni, you're like, no, you are fucking lying to us here right now. And then the whole grenade thing, he's untouched, man. He pulled the fucking grenade. The grenade blew about 4 walkers into smithereens, and Rick's just fucking intact. And again with the gas, I mean, Rick was without a mask for a couple of minutes here.
Fighting? Which means you would be breathing.
Michonne and Nat were without a mask for maybe 10 seconds before they went into a building, and they were like incapacitated for a year. I mean, what? But Rick just breathes it. Breathe it in, man. Rick just breathes it fucking in like he's on... It's shite. You know what? See when it showed you the flashbacks for times when The Walking Dead was good, it actually annoyed me.
Aye. It was like, how fucking dare you? How dare you show that? No, but they were trying to compare Shane to Beale. They were showing Shane shooting Otis when he was referring to Beale. It's like, what? What the fuck's even the same? Beale's talking about killing
But no,
millions of people.
No, I don't get. See, at this point in The Walking Dead, how can you argue that Rick's not worse than Shane?
Of course he is. Yeah, I know.
When did Shane kill 3,000 people?
No,
Look at the shit that the group's done. Like, yeah, see back in season 2, maybe Shane was a wee bit more ruthless, and he was willing to, sacrifice people if it meant for the greater good. But we're at a stage now where it's like, see the people in The Walking Dead, they will just kill you without a second's thought.
Yep.
And we're still supposed to believe they're like Rick's group and the protagonists of this show are like morally superior to everyone else.
It's like, this is the same guy, though, that, like, kept Negan alive. And here he is killing, like, 3,000 people. Despite a couple episodes ago, the CRM's the way to go, buddy. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. So that's pretty much
I'm
it.
going to get a 3 out of 10. I thought it was pretty poor. I think, yeah, in terms of, like, the happy ending, it's the best they could have done, but I think it's a poor ending.
It's not great.
It was just a rushed episode. It was like you had 6 episodes and you somehow managed to mess it up completely.
I'll give it a 4.
3.5 out of 10, and I think this.
And also another thing, like you seen the last episode, it was almost like Rick and Michonne were like upset and sad that Jadis died.
I know it's cringe. I don't get that.
Yeah, this episode they just wipe out 3,000 like it's fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's just fuck. I don't know, man.
And we see that Jadis is a cunt. These 3,000 people that Rick killed might not have been bad people. Thorne didn't seem like a bad person. There was like not even like an ounce of remorse. Do you not think Rick should have felt a bit bad?
Yeah, because if you felt bad for Jadis, why didn't you feel bad for Pearl, who didn't never threaten him really?
I just don't get it.
I don't get it, but I mean this.
But even Okafor, I mean, you can talk about finishing his story. Rick didn't give a fuck.
His story, buddy. No, but this confirms there'll be no season 2. There's no need. What if you do a season 2 of this? It's pretty much The Walking Dead because you're back at Alexandria with Rick, Michonne, and co.
I think we're at the point now where I think that the other 2 spin-offs will finish, and I believe we will get some form of reboot for The Walking
But
Dead.
what's it going to be called? Season 12?
Why not? Can you not do that? I mean, other shows have done that.
Loads of shows have done that. Prison Break did it.
And you know what? I think it's simpler. I think from a promotion standpoint, it just sounds a bit better. Like the Walking Dead. Seeing you have to go The Walking Dead Dead City, or The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, or The Walking Dead The Ones Who
The
Live.
problem is the timelines. The timelines are upside down.
The Walking Dead version 2.
No, like,
oh yeah.
Rick has returned here to Alexandria with the 2 kids and Michonne, but Dead City's like another 6 years ahead, potentially.
And it just means if they want to bring Rick or whatever into one of these spin-offs, it's like the timeline is going to be messed up. Like,
Yeah, it needs to be sorted out, and it is a mess because it means like but then if you want Negan to appear, it's like, well, where does this fit in with? It's like then RJ and Judith need to be 6 years older when Negan comes back, and Maggie for when they're with. This is what happens though when you've got a cash cow and they just refuse to end it.
and I know you're going to get people watching this episode saying it was great and it's a 10 out of 10. But honestly, man, if you've been truthful to yourself, if you like compelling television that actually makes sense and you don't have to like hold your disbelief every 5 seconds, then you cannot possibly think this was a good episode because it wasn't.
No,
It just wasn't there. I'm gonna get a 4 out of 10.
3.5 out of 10. We'll be back soon. We're gonna probably rank everything for this seat. But again, like, where is the characters?
I would say episode 1 was good. Episode 1 was good. I think 2 and 3 were okay.
Downhill since then.
4, 5, and 6, I would argue it's just got worse in order.
Yep.
I would say maybe 3 was better than 2. I think right now, from best to worst, my rating would be 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. But I can see why people would think 2 is better than 3. And I can definitely see why people think 5 is better than 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's a lot I didn't like in 5. See the whole dynamic, Jadis chasing them, then them chasing her. Even though they can't kill her, but they say they're going to kill her. Then it's like this back and forward cat and mouse thing, but it's like 1 minute Jadis is the mouse.
And then she gets a 20 minutes.
But then the next minute,
speech.
Jadis is the cat. And then it's like by the end of it, they're like, Rick and Michonne are almost got tears in their fucking eyes.
Jadis.
You know, it's like, I honestly don't get it, guys. In terms of an overall season rating score, I would give it a 5. I
I'd
think.
give it a 5. I'd agree with that.
I mean, it was first episode good.
It served a purpose, but it should have been so much better.
I think once you tally up our ratings as well, I think it might be somewhere above around a 5 anyway. So
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
between like
though.
5 and 5.5 or something like that. So
We'll do that at the end very soon. But
the end. This is the end.
Well, you know what I mean. Well, it'll be a post up in the channel,
Right, but you know what? It's not the end of the Walking Dead content because we have some more season 5 theory fids to come. We'll have to rank all the characters in our season 5 reviews, and then we're back with Fear the Walking Dead season 4. Big casualty. I'll no spoil it, but if you don't know at this stage, then what you done in your life. But yeah, major character dies this season.
Oh yeah.
I believed.
And I didn't, and that is the end of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live retrospective. RJ, quite possibly one of the worst characters going. It is what it is. Thank you for listening to this near 2-hour The Walking Dead, The One Who Lives experience, retrospective, whatever you want to call it. Be back with more Walking Dead content soon. Till next time. Peace.